Welcome to the Deep Dive, where we take your source material and distill it into the most important nuggets of knowledge and insight. Today we're doing something a bit different, a really unique deep dive. Our source, it's a children's story, The Beach Ball Who Dreamed of Flight. Now, I know what you might be thinking, a kid's book? Seriously, what profound insights could that possibly hold for me? Well, that's our mission today, to kind of peel back the layers of this seemingly simple story and pull out the powerful, maybe surprising lessons hidden inside. It's lighthearted, sure, but it really touches on some universal challenges we all face. And, when we talk about unexpected wisdom, sometimes the smallest stories hold the biggest truths. Wouldn't you agree?
Oh, absolutely. It's amazing how fundamental truths, these universal experiences, they often pop up in the most unexpected places. A children's story especially has this knack for stripping away all the complexity. It presents these core ideas with just remarkable clarity. So as we get into Bouncer's journey today, I'd really encourage you, the listener, to think about the broader implications, for your own goals, way beyond just a sandy beach.
Couldn't agree more. So, okay, let's dive in. Let's get to know our main character. Bouncer the Beach Ball.
Yeah.
His life was, well, pretty much what you'd expect for a beach ball. Days spent bouncing, rolling around, getting tossed about on the sand. Kids kicking him, dogs chasing him, the wind pushing him along. Pretty standard stuff, right? But deep down, Bouncer had this huge, kind of squishy, almost impossible dream he desperately wanted to fly. Just like the kites he'd watch, soaring and swooping high above the beach.
Yeah, and what's so striking right away is that contrast. Bouncer's whole design, it's all about gravity, right? Bouncing, staying grounded, reacting to things around him. Yet his biggest dream completely flies in the face of that perceived limit.
It's such a powerful metaphor, isn't it, for how often our own dreams kind of push against what we think is possible or what others expect us to be. When you hear about Bouncer's dream, what does that spark for you, thinking about us, about people?
It immediately makes me think of those moments. You have this idea, this vision, and it just feels so right. Even if, every logical part of you or everyone around you is saying, no way, that's impossible. And Bouncer definitely ran into that. Big time. When he actually dared to share his dream, the other toys, they were quick to, deflate his hopes. The beach bucket apparently snorted, and I think the quote is, "You're round, not aerodynamic."
Ouch. Direct.
Right. And then this snooty pair of flip-flops chimed in, adding, "You are made to bounce, not fly." But here's the thing that really hits home. Bouncer didn't let it stop him. He was absolutely determined. That strength against the immediate doubt, that skepticism. That's such a critical first step.
It really brings up a big question for all of us, doesn't it? How often do we face that same kind of pushback when we go after something big? The story just nails that common human thing of facing doubt, sometimes even ridicule, from people around us. Bouncer's determination, sticking to it despite those voices, it just highlights how vital that inner resilience is, especially when you're trying something new, something unconventional. It's not just about having the dream. It's believing enough to push past that initial no.
He definitely needed that resilience because his first attempts at flying were, let's just say they were a real lesson in trial and error, lots of error.
Yeah.
He tried launching herself off the lifeguard tower. That ended with a very loud pwing.
Predictable, maybe?
You'd think. Then he asked a pelican for a lift. That resulted in more of a sad flop, and maybe his most creative attempt, but also kind of doomed. He built wings out of seagull feathers and sunscreen bottles.
Wow.
That's inventive.
Totally. But it ended with a flat flap. Splat.
Hearing about those attempts, I can't help but think about how many times I've tried something new and just completely face-planted. It takes real guts to keep going after a boing or a splat like that.
It really does. And if we look at the bigger picture here, Bouncer's persistence, his creative problem solving, even with these funny failures, it's incredibly insightful. These trials, yeah, they didn't work right away, but they show true dedication. Each splat wasn't really a defeat. It was more like data collection.
Oh, okay. Data collection. I like that.
Yeah. It was a way of figuring out what didn't work, which informed his next idea instead of just being a reason to quit. It's iterative, really. He learned something every single time, even if it was just what not to do next. Right. So it's not just about trying again, but about learning from what goes wrong, like a mini R&D department for a beach ball. And then, just when he was maybe feeling a bit deflated, about to give up, something pivotal happened. This kind little girl, Zoey, came over. She just smiled and asked him, "Want help, bouncy friend?" And then she did something simple but brilliant. Tied a super long kite string around Bouncer and started running into the wind.
And that That introduction of help from the outside, that support, it's a complete game changer in the story. Bouncer had pushed his own persistence and creativity as far as they could go, right? He tried the solo route, but it was Zoe's kindness, that collaborative effort that actually unlocked the possibility of flight. It just perfectly shows the value of kindness, of helping others, how it can achieve things that trying all by yourself might never manage. Sometimes our dreams just need that helping hand or a fresh perspective, or maybe a tool we hadn't even thought of. Collaboration can be the missing piece.
And with Zoe's help, wow, it was like magic. Suddenly, whoosh, Bouncer lifted off the sand. Now, he wasn't like zooming high like a rocket or anything, no.
Yeah.
But he was floating, drifting, spinning in the breeze. The story actually says he wasn't just flying, he was dancing in the sky.
Dancing in the sky.
Yeah, and in that moment of pure joy, Bouncer shouted out, "I'm airborne and beach proud."
That dancing in the sky part is so poignant. It really highlights that success doesn't always look the way others expect it to look. Bouncer isn't flying in the usual, aerodynamic way. He found his own unique method, a way that actually embraces his rawness, his own nature. It really drives home that idea of finding your own path, defining flying for yourself instead of trying to fit into some pre-made box or meet other people's expectations. It's about being true to who you are, even while you're reaching for that high-up goal.
Absolutely. And maybe the most satisfying bit of the whole story. Those other toys, the ones who laughed and doubted him before, they just watched, totally amazed. Even the snooty flip-flops were cheering him on.
Huh. Even the flip-flops.
Even the flip-flops. So from that day on, Bouncer became this sort of beach legend. He still bounced, when bouncing was needed, of course. But every afternoon when it got breezy, with Zoe's help, he reached for the clouds again.
That ending, it just perfectly sums up this huge shift in perception. Not just for Bouncer himself, finding his unique way to fly, but for all the other toys, too. One individual's success, achieved through that hard work and crucial help, it can completely redefine what everyone thinks is possible. It shifts that whole group mindset from, you can't do that, to, maybe we can, sparking this new sense of potential.
So, okay, we've walked through Bouncer's amazing journey. Now, this is where it gets really interesting for you, our listener. What can you really take away from a beach ball who dreamed of flight? Where are those nuggets for your life?
Well, the story really boils down to several powerful, pretty actionable lessons, I think. First, you definitely see the huge impact of, let's call it, iterative resilience and creative problem solving. Bouncer's repeated tries, even the kind of funny ones with the feathers and sunscreen, they weren't just failures, they were like data points, experiments. They eventually led to a solution, especially when combined with Zoe's idea. It's all about adapting, learning from every splat.
Right, learn from the splats. Got it.
Exactly. Second, it's a real testament to the fortitude, the sheer grit you need to hold on to an unconventional vision, especially when the loudest voices are telling you it's wrong or impossible. Bouncer's resilience against that bucket and those flip-flops, it just shows how crucial it is to have that internal belief, that locus of control, believing in your vision even when nobody else gets it, or when they're actively telling you no. Often, the really big ideas start out looking kind of crazy.
That's so true. And the third,
maybe the most critical piece here, is the transformative power of kindness and, well, strategic collaboration. Zoey didn't just pat Bouncer on the back. She gave him practical help, the kite string. That made his dream actually happen. Her kindness wasn't just, a nice little moment. It was the essential catalyst. It shows how working together, bringing in a different perspective, can unlock things that struggling all by yourself might never achieve.
so putting it all together, what does this really mean for you listening right now? You might be brilliant, talented, maybe trying to navigate a path where your own design, your own nature feels a bit out of sync with how things usually work. You might feel a bit round, like Bouncer, in a world that seems built for, aerodynamic things.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And the big takeaway here, the overarching lesson, is pretty profound, I think. You don't have to be built to fly, not in the conventional way to rise above expectations. You really don't. You just need to believe in your potential, be willing to experiment, try new things, and crucially, find the right wind, maybe the right opportunity or conditions, and the right friend, the right supports to help you lift off. Think about it. What seemingly impossible dream are you holding on to right now? What might be your unconventional path to getting there?
Wow. Bouncer's journey is just such a fantastic reminder, isn't it? of the power of dreams, that unwavering determination, and how strong connection can be. Who knew a beach ball could pack such a punch?
Exactly. And that leaves us with a final thought for you to mull over. A provocative question, maybe. What kite string, what kind of support or tool or connection might you need right now? Or what wind, what opportunity or energy can you leverage to lift off toward your own big, maybe seemingly impossible dream? And just as important, who are the friends or what acts of kindness might you need to seek out or maybe offer to someone else to help yourself or them defy those expectations and, well, dance in your own sky?